he's
still
about to
didn't
get
hear you.
killed.
Yeah.
And Walken goes,
Yeah.
just tell me why.
Yeah.
It's for the money. Just tell me why. I love
That's
Bad
not
Lieutenant.
enough.
Bad Lieutenant, he should have been nominated. It's absurd.
My wife and I go around this all the. I mean, what are you going to do to get? Who do you have to blow around here? A performance like that. I know it's an independent film. I know the masturbation scene might be one of the most uncomfortable, excruciating.
Isn't that
mainstream
that's what it's
mainstream
supposed to be.
indie cinema
You
scenes.
ever suck cock? A couple
Yeah.
beautiful girls.
Yeah.
Where were you tonight? Kit Kat Club? Smoke a little grass?
Yeah.
I know what you did. Can't you just give us a warning? Maybe you do something for me. Don't talk back. I'll bring you in. Does your father know you have his car? I like when he goes up to the car. He goes, you know, you girls know you have a taillight out? Like the most bullshit.
Yeah.
Like he saw it in a movie once.
Yeah.
You girls know you have a taillight out? Very dangerous.
Your Keitel's awesome.
It's really just Colin Quinn at a different pitch.
Yeah. No, my Colin's like this. Hey.
That works.
Yeah.
I like your little person impression in one of the pods I heard.
Please, no, don't hurt me.
That giant's
a menace. This is the biggest glass I've ever lifted. Why? I'm organizing a revolt. These conditions are untenable.
Yeah. There's
I
nothing
want to
funnier
move
than
to,
the
I want to move to
midget
St.
voice.
Augustine, where the doorways are proper.
Yeah.
Finally, doorways that observe where I'm coming from.
Do you
Why
watch
must everything be so heightest?
Do you watch those little people shows?
No.
It's hard.
Yeah. I don't. The whole I like.
They freak you out.
It's not. I like little people. It's just that okay.
If they're buying tickets, sure.
Here's a story. Years ago, I did this dating show. The year everybody did a dating show, right? Like 2000 or whatever, 2001. There was like 5 dating shows on the air. And I did one too. So we went to pitch it. And when we were pitching it, we went to one studio. I'm not going to say which one it was.
Okay.
And we pitched the show, and it's like they go on a date, and we show it on video, and the celebrities talk about it, and we have a stick, and we, mark it, and blah, blah, blah. And they go, You know when you're in the, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be little people? And I fucking, I went and I look at the producers and everybody, the agents, and they go, "What? There could be."
Yeah. We were just talking about that on the walk up from the elevator.
But that was his first question, not like.
It is astounding how studio people.
You want to see little people dating? That's what you want.
We do.
Yeah, tiny love, little love. What would you call it?
I think tiny love is.
Yeah.
I like the word tiny.
Yeah, tiny's good. Dinky's my favorite because Dinky's just hilarious.
But you couldn't use it if there's ever
you couldn't say
Vietnamese
dinky.
people on the show.
Yeah, you couldn't say dinky.
Like, watch Dinky Love,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like a Vietnamese little person, and you go, that seems a little off
Yeah, no,
to
it's
me.
not.
My Uncle Dan was a guest. We really get the big ones here. But Uncle Dan's a huge hit. And I asked him, I said, why don't you just come on by and just send me a one sheet of reality shows that you'd like to see? Midget poker.
Midget poker.
With oversized cards and chips.
Right.
And then I said, you know what? That's so fucking brilliant.
It would work.
However, me playing studio executive, they would play against reachers. That's what they call us, reachers.
Right.
But the people, regular-sized people, the reachers they play against have to have enormous hands. Like the biggest, freakishly large hands you've
Basketball
ever seen.
hands.
So when they're like, chips the size of coasters, and on it just looks like,
what's with these chips? That giant is a mess.
Yeah.
These chips are enormous.
So
How
you
am I
were-
to lift these?
You were going to talk about David Aldrich.
Oh, Robert Aldrich. Yeah.
Robert
So
Aldrich.
he directed Baby Jane, which is amazingly camp guignol. And then there's a movie called The Killing of Sister George, where...
There's the page right there.
Oh, there it is. Oh, we can go right through, can't we? All right. Oh, well, Caught, Big Leaguer. Apache's a straight-up Western, Veracruz. Kiss Me Deadly is that Mike Hammer one with Ralph Meeker, where, as one critic pointed out, I think it was Danny Perry, he goes into one place and offers the guy a bribe, and the guy won't take it, and he slaps around. Then he goes into another place and offers the guy a bribe in the subsequent scene, and the guy will take it, and he slaps him around. Like, it doesn't matter what your reaction to Mike Hammer is.
Crazy slap around.
He's mad at you. You're like, how about $50? Hey, you can't do that way. Hey, all right, you can go. How about $50? Hey, $50. Hey, you fucking shot my.
But right away, you got Baby Jane,
Yeah.
and you have a Western.
Flight of the Phoenix, which I'm sure you've seen where they're trapped in the desert and shit. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte is another guignol with, he couldn't get Betty, it's Olivia de Havilland. Baby Jane, then 4 for Texas, which is every other movie, right? Flight of the Phoenix, then The Dirty Dozen, which is the most macho, awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a better movie than The Dirty Dozen?
No. All you need to say is the guy did Baby Jane, and then you go, and then he did The Dirty Dozen.
Right.
And you go, wait, what kind of person is this?
Jim Brown and Betty Davis in a 2-year period. Jim Brown running for freedom.
Jim Brown retiring from football.
Yeah, throwing grenades at Nazis. When I was little, my dad took me to see.
Jim Brown
I've
went.
done something.
Oh, don't
what have
worry
I
about
done? Oh, there it is.
When Jim Brown dies, he will have died taking a lot of talent with him. Football talent.
Yeah, I met him once in New York. I'm sure you met him.
I never have.
Have you not?
But no.
Because I'm envious of all the guys you've got to meet in sports, so I'm in a hotel in New York with my wife, and he's sitting in the lobby, and he's wearing the awesome Africa beanie.
Yeah.
You know, the one that's got multicolors.
The one I'm going to go talk to inner city youth hat?
Yeah. Yes. And a long leather jacket. And we walk over, and I go, Mr. Brown. And he stood up, and it took. And I felt so awful. I wanted to go, sit, don't get up, because it took, 2 minutes to stand up, because there was no knees. And then, of course, when he stood up, I was like, oh, and he shook our hands, and he couldn't have been better. And I was like, oh, my God, Jim Brown. And my wife was like, Jim Brown,
He really, retired. He had probably 5 years left in him. 4 years.
He quit early, and he quit before he could have had TV glory. You know what I mean? I think his career doesn't quite
It's right
get
before
into the early 70s when
It's
football.
Larry Zonka.
Right, when football became the #1 TV show.
He was like 2 Larry Zonkas.
oh my God.
That's fair, right?
Oh, he was if
Between us girls, Jim Brown was probably the equivalent, talent-wise, of 2 Larry Zonkas.
oh, no question.
Taking
to
nothing
Larry
away
Zonkas.
from Larry Zonka.
At all. I think he was OJ if OJ was like a beast.
Peyton Hillis, if he was black and never got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a big fucking kid, Peyton Hillis.
He is. Jim
But-
Brown was giant, and
But
also
he threw chicks off balconies and shit, Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. Oh, he was
he's like an
terrible
old
with women his
school-
whole career.
Get your hands dirty. He's a hands-on guy.
Terrible with women.
Like
his whole-
I'll
I
yeah,
ha-
I
you-
think when you throw a woman off a balcony, you are officially terrible with women.
Oh,
you
and-
said
and
it like
beating on many-
you said it like he has a hard time picking them up. Yeah, he's terrible with them. He has a hard time with
He's a
them.
shocking abuser in some ways.
No, Greg. I mean, he pulled her out of the hot tub,
And
dragged her
threw
across
her
the Mondrian
off a
Hotel, and
fucking
threw her off the balcony.
And he's huge.
And then talked to the
scary.
cops and said, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And they're
Right.
like, "Okay, Jim, you got it, pal."
Well, because he's Jim Brown. I know. It's horrible.
I like that Richard Pryor joke. Where he goes, "Jim played when only 2 or 3 niggas were blocking for him." Like that. Really, you don't even realize back then, the hatred, the seething hatred.
Oh, yeah.
And guys are like, "I'm not fucking blocking for this guy." Like,
He didn't need no blocking.
no, he didn't.
That dude ran over dudes. Watch him on YouTube because he is.
He
a
was Earl
devastating
Campbell
guy.
before Earl Campbell.
That's who he's close because the knees, right? And also, he used to show up in a suit and tie with a briefcase, and they would go, "Why are you here in a suit and tie?" The white reporters, the early '60s, late '50s. "Why are you here in a briefcase?" "I'm here to do business."
Which could be a line right out of the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Why'd you bring a suit and
It's
tie?
right after he quit, isn't it? It's like 67, 68. It's like right after his.
Deacon Jones told me, we were friends for a long time. We did a show
Deacon
together,
Jones.
NFL This Morning on Fox Sports, when that was up and running. That was maybe the best gig I ever had because they would give me a room at the Hill. I forget which one it was, but on Avenue of the Stars.
So you got to stay here.
I get to stay in town,
Yeah.
and it was only Sunday for 2 hours.
Right.
It was live, and I would go, and I was very unhappy in a marriage.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, I got to go get in the hotel and prepare. And I just smoked copious amounts
Yeah.
of weed
Yeah.
and watched SpectraVision. Got like 3 hours of sleep, woke
Right.
up, would hit a one-hitter. Probably, now I can say it, statute of limitations. And I was just high as balls on live TV with Marv Levy on one side, and I would call him Leslie Nielsen
Yeah.
and just tease him. And then Deacon Jones on the other side. And Marv Levy was like just rolling out the wisdom. Depth is the most important thing on a team
Yeah.
until you need it.
Ah,
Like weird
What
shit.
does that mean?
It's like Yogi Berra-isms where you're like, I'm not sure I understand that.
Yeah,
but
that's abstruse.
But 10 years ago, I'm still thinking about it.
yeah.
Like maybe,
Until you need it.
because if you need it, maybe what you really need is just your starters.
I was going to say, is that what that means? Does that mean the starting guys have to be excellent?
I think then you need health more than, I don't know. You
Well,
want
but
men to
depth's-
respect
depth's not
you.
bad because,
It's the most important thing
And-
until you need it.
Well, I don't know. I'm a Niners fan, right? And we had Young as backup. And then when we needed him, we had him. And I don't know if that illustrates it or defies it entirely.
I think when you lose 4 Super Bowls, you have, it's like doing 3 tours in Vietnam and going, what are your thoughts on the Southeast Asian economy? I say we fucking blow it up.
Yeah.
Economy
Burn it
is
to
the
the
most
ground.
important thing in a country until you need it.
Yeah, until I don't want to deal with it anymore.
And Deacon would smoke like Newport 400s.
Really awesome.
And he would just be like, you going to get arrested. He'd come see my shows and go, you going to get arrested for saying what you're saying on that stage, man.
Was he friends with the other fearsome foursome?
Yeah, dear friends.
So when Merlin passed, he must have been. Well,
he
you
was
don't know him now.
devastated.
Yeah.
And Merlin Olsen, I go, he didn't know Merlin Olsen was a Mormon.
Really?
And I go,
You didn't know?
he had no
Yeah,
idea.
awesome.
Because he lives in Deacon's world.
Yeah.
And I said, what's your real name? And he goes, David.
Yeah.
And I go, why do you go by Deacon? He goes,
Yeah.
ain't no motherfucker going to be afraid of no David.
Oh my God, that's the best thing I've
But
ever
when
heard.
you tell a motherfucker, hey, the Deacon's coming around
Yeah,
that
you
corner,
fucking A.
you going to be afraid of a motherfucking Deacon.
Yeah, we're holding services
I go,
over your body when I fucking lay you down.
I said, so I go, Merlin Olsen, he's a Mormon. You know, that's kind of cool. He goes, what do you mean he's a Mormon? Don't be calling a man a Mormon now. Like, thought it was like an insult. I go, no, he was a Mormon. He goes, well, look, hey, Jay Moors. Hey, Jay Moors, if Merlin Olsen was a Mormon,
plural.
he was the coolest Mormon I ever fucking met. And then I
Yeah.
asked him if, who's the guy from the Packers? He's a linebacker.
Nitschke? Oh, no, he was the...
Yeah, like
Nitschke.
maybe he was gay. Like there's
Really?
a whisper, and he goes, "Man, you must be out your fucking mind."
Ray
telling me that
Nitschke?
motherfucker. And if he was gay, I wouldn't want to be gay against him. Like somehow in Deacon's mind, someone just said it to me like drunk, and I just brought it to like my source, which was the oracle of everything, which was Deacon. And I used to get obsessed that Lamar Lundy is not in the Hall of Fame. It's
Yeah.
the fearsome foursome. You're telling me that Lamar Lundy was a fucking sieve compared to the other 3 guys.
Right.
I don't get it.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Rosie Greer, Deacon Jones, Lamar Lundy, and
Did Roosevelt Greer pass?
No, he goes to my dentist.
Oh,
too.
he's still there.
It's very weird. You
And-
see him in the dentist office.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big guy, nice.
How big is he?
He's a mountain. He's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
6'6", 3. Now he's probably 280,
Yeah.
and he has that no knee, no hip walk,
One of the first great guys to jump over and do lots of movies and TV and stuff.
and to knit.
Mm.
He got famous for knitting.
I remember the crochet book.
Now you got me going on Colin. I can't stop. You know.
Yeah. He would go on Merv Griffin with the knitting book, man.
Hey Rosie, we got a big road trip coming up
Yeah.
in Indy. Maybe you can knit me, something to tighten up my neck a little bit. You know.
Yeah. I need that's so funny.
Oh Christ! Here
Make
comes
me a
Rosie.
sweater.
She's gonna ask us to pick out colors again.
Yeah. Do you think this maroon is too out there for me, or should I go with something more subdued?
For you, no. Deacon, I asked, what quarterback would you say? I'm going to guess Archie Manning, but what quarterback would you say that you sacked the most ferociously?
Right.
The most, and he goes, what? Like he didn't understand the question. And I go like, what, out of all the quarterbacks you hit, who did you hit the most and the hardest? Where
Yeah.
you still to this day like a good steak go, ooh, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
what? I don't even know. I go, who did you hit? He goes, all of them. If a motherfucker wore a baseball hat, I got to him. I socked him up. Didn't matter to me, Jay Morris. I got I go, because I think there's actual impressions of Archie Manning in Atlanta
Right,
on the
right,
turf. And he
right.
goes, maybe.
Because Archie Manning had no line. I talk to kids now about it because of all the Manning kids. And I'm like, you don't remember Archie. He was the #1 college player in the country.
Yeah.
And then when he went to the pros, he went to the worst team in the NFL.
His offensive line in college was better than his offensive line.
Decidedly.
Yeah.
That's
in-
why
in
he
the
was able to
pros.
set every bloody record with. What was it, Ole Miss? Who the fuck was he with?
I think he was. He did go to Ole Miss.
Yeah, he was like a monster. If he'd been on, well, what era are we talking? Like the 60s?
He could have quarterbacked the Cowboys to Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
the Cowboy. He would have won 3 rings with the
Yeah.
Cowboys easily.
Those were the guys. The Hollywood Henderson boys. Did you read his book?
No, I didn't.
Smoked crack night before the Super Bowl. Knock on the door. Answered the door with a loaded gun. Like,
Yeah.
it's Marvin Gaye. Says, I understand you got
Oh.
rockin' bitches.
Yeah.
They smoked till noon. He's got 3 sacks the next day.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game's at 4.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Best.
Smoked
He
till
said.
noon.
He said in his book, he never felt bad about injuring anybody or
Right.
like just because he's sober now and
Yeah.
he does a lot of work, outreach stuff.
Right.
He said, but Mike, the only time he's ever felt bad in his life, Mike Ditka, he was like his first year in the league. Mike Ditka was the special teams coach for the Cowboys. And the kicker that had half a foot,
Yeah, Dempsey.
Ditka goes, look at this half-foot motherfucker. Every time he kicks the ball off, he goes down and sticks his nose in the pile like he wants a piece of the action.
Yeah.
Henderson, you cut across that field and you take him out of his goddamn shoes or don't come back to the sideline. So that was Hollywood Henderson. You know,
Yeah.
he's an animal.
Right.
So his job is to take out the 5'9", half-foot
Right.
kicker, right?
Right.
Runs down the field, obliterates the man, like
Yeah, yeah,
almost
yeah.
kills
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
And there's a pile because the ball comes loose and people are shoving. And what no one realizes, and I didn't realize it until I read it, he also had